It was a time of change back in the 1940s. We were hip-hop and cool. And our quarter had a president, so did the dime, so did the nickel, and so did the penny. But the half dollar was in for a change, and it wasn't going to be a president. In the early 1940s, the US half dollar was eligible for a change. Now, all of this stems back to an act of Congress, September 26, 1890. This act of Congress stated that the current 50-cent piece design had to be in production for at least a minimum of 25 years before it could be modified. Then Mint Director Nellie Rose wanted to put Benjamin Franklin on a US coin. Now, several of her colleagues urged her to put Benjamin Franklin on the penny because of his motto, "A penny saved is 2 pence cleared," which of course has been misquoted everywhere as "a penny saved is a penny earned." Mint Director Rose had seen artist John R. Sinnock's portrait of Franklin on a medal he created in 1933, and she just adored it and thought it would be a great portrait to put on the obverse of the 50-cent piece. John Sinnock began creation of the new 50-cent piece design in the early 1940s. However, World War II began and kind of messed up the whole thing, so that he wasn't finally finished with the design until 1948. Sinnock modeled his portrait of Franklin off of 18th century sculptor's piece, and that guy's name was Jean-Antoine Houdon. The reverse of the 50-cent piece has the Liberty Bell on it. Now, Sinnock actually took the image from the Liberty Bell from an original sketch from John Fredericks, who used it on his 1926 half-dollar commemorative piece. Now, this wasn't known about the Franklin half-dollar piece until the 1960s. Now, there's a couple of controversial type aspects about the Franklin half-dollar piece. One of them is the artist itself, his initials, more or less. Well, John Sinnock, JS. Makes you kind of think. We're dealing with the 50s and the 40s here. Well, he created the Roosevelt dime, and he put his initials on it like any good artist would, JS. Well, because this was an era of communism and everyone was freaking out about communism, a lot of Americans thought that a communist KGB agent had infiltrated the mint and was putting JS, standing for Joseph Stalin, on our coinage. Well, this wasn't the case. It meant John Sinnock. But beginning with the 50-cent piece, John Sinnock actually put his middle initial into it too, so it's JRS, to take some of the controversy off of this coin. Another tidbit of controversy surrounding the Franklin half-dollar piece is the fact that the Federal Commission of Fine Art objected to two different things on the coin. The first is they objected to a crack in the Liberty Bell on the reverse. Well, the Liberty Bell has a crack in it, so why wouldn't you depict it in your artwork on the reverse of the bell? They thought it might make America seem weak. The second thing they objected to is the size of the eagle on the reverse. Now, the eagle on the reverse of the Franklin half is relatively small, but every 50-cent piece made for circulation has to have the American eagle on the reverse. Now let's talk about some of the specifics of the Franklin half dollar. Now, the Franklin, it had an okay run. It was kind of cut off on its prime, but it ran from 1948 until 1963. And of course, the Kennedy half dollar came in and kind of knocked it out a little bit. So I think it probably would have run a little bit further if it weren't for the Kennedy half dollar. The coin itself is made of 90% silver, 10% copper. It weighs 12.5 grams and was actually minted in the Philadelphia Mint, the Denver Mint, and the San Francisco Mint. The Franklin half dollar is a great coin for any collector. You can own these in mint state for no exorbitant $1,000 fees like some of the other coins. So if you're looking for a coin to collect and you don't have thousands of dollars to spend on a coin collection, the Franklin half dollar is probably one you want to look at. A lot of them were melted down in the 60s, but they still have a lot of them out there because they had really high mintages on these coins. One of the cool things that I like about the Franklin halves is the fact you can find these still in original bank rolls. Now, a lot of the older coins, you can't find them in bank rolls because A, they didn't put them in rolls, they put them in bags, or B, if they were in rolls, they've been broken apart and put out through the collector community as individual coins. So I think that's really cool about the Franklin halves. You can still find them in rolls. Now that we've got some of the specifics, the history, and all the cool things that make up what is the Franklin half dollar, let's talk about what you should collect as a Franklin half dollar collector. I myself don't really own that many Franklin halves. You know, being a coin collector, you've only got so much money to put in certain areas, and you can broaden yourself out and buy some of this and buy some of that. But as for me, I own a bunch of raw Franklins. Most of them are mint states, some of them are AUs, and they're all common dates. Well, APMEX, American Precious Metals Exchange, actually sent some courtesy coins for us to show on the show, and it's the ones that I would recommend purchasing when you're collecting Franklin halves. Now let's talk about the mintage of Franklin coins. Well, there are actually two low mintage points within the Franklin series. The 1953 Philadelphia Mint is at 2.6 million, and the 1955 Philadelphia Mint is at 2.4 million. It's still in the millions, but those are going to be your key date for Franklin low mintage coins. Now there's some interesting things that have come up over the history of grading Franklin 50-cent pieces. And then one of them is called full bell lines, or FBL. It's something all the grading services are grading now. And this is on the reverse of the coin, on the Liberty Bell. At the bottom, there are lines going across the bell. Well, a lot of these are weakly struck, so the actual lines do not go totally across the bell and they kind of get interrupted. Well, full bell lines have the lines going totally across, uninterrupted at all. As you can see here, we've got this nice 1948 Mint State 65 by PCGS full bell line Franklin coin. Now this is a beauty. And also we've got a 1955 Mint State 64 full bell line coin here too. This got another variety too that I'm going to kind of get into. Came out in 1955. That's pretty amazing also. Now what is this variety I'm talking about? Well, it's called Bugs Bunny. And if you look at Franklin, it looks like he has two little teeth, or little teeth coming out of the mouth on the portrait. The origin of this is kind of up for debate. Some people are calling it a die class, some people call it something else. It's still not really known how it happened, but it happened. And it's a really neat variety within the Franklin half dollar series. And if I were to collect any of them, this is one of the varieties I would definitely get. Now I would avoid AU or almost uncirculated or any type of circulated coin on the Franklin halves. Now the reason I say this is because there's so many mint state coins out there that if you're a collector, you don't really need to purchase any of the circulated AU coins or anything below that because you've got the mint state coins out there. But you know, if you're purchasing and you're wanting junk silver, definitely go with Franklin halves in the AUs. It's like here, we've got a $100 bag from APMEX of junk silver. It's a great investment. I would purchase bankrolls. Now, like I said, this is one of the few coins that you can find in bankrolls that are brilliant uncirculated still. And a lot of the cool things about them, if you can find the bankrolls, a lot of them are toned. So some of the toned Franklin coins look really awesome. Like for instance, here we have this one. It's a nice tone even to it, and it looks really nice. And it actually, you know, beefs up the price quite a bit on them. You can also go with BU rolls that have been opened up too and purchase them that way. There's just a large variety, whether you're wanting to buy mixed dates or you're wanting to buy just specific dates. I myself, I would probably buy rolls of each date so that way I could get every single one and have a roll of it, because I'm kind of weird like that, rather than buying the slab stuff. Another thing you might want to consider too is purchasing proof coins. Now Franklin proofs are kind of weird. There's some of them that actually have the cameo and the mirrored surfaces and they look really nice. And there are some where you really can't, you know, see the cameo that well. But proof coins are another way to go with the Franklins too. If you just want to collect proofs, definitely go for that, because there's some really gorgeous proof Franklins out there. One of the main problems with Franklin halves is the fact you can't find anything above a 64. It's very difficult to, and the reason why they've got bag marks on them, and they're so easy to damage on the reverse and the obverse. So if you're an optimum collector and you're wanting a really nice coin, you're going to be going for a 65 or above. But because there's so many 64 and below Franklins out there, if you're not wanting to spend a lot on a coin and build up a really nice collection, you can do that also by not, breaking the bank by buying some really expensive high-grade coins. Well guys, we've talked about the Franklin half dollar in this episode of Spare Change. We talked about the history, the politics, what to collect if you're a collector, all the varieties, all the cool things, and how affordable the Franklin half dollar is. And this may be the coin that you want to start your coin collection with. I also want to thank APMEX. This episode would not have been possible without them. They sent over a bunch of courtesy coins that we filmed for this, and I've got to actually send them back to them now. But it was really great of them to do this. Also, they gave me this. This is a coupon code. It will get you $5 off an order of $50. It will also get you $10 off if you order $100 or more. So definitely use this if you purchase from their website. There it is again. APMEX, I gotta recommend them. They are a great company. I've purchased tons of stuff from them. If you bought from them before, you know how good they are. If you haven't, then definitely check them out. Their website is right here too, so definitely go over and check them out. Well guys, in the next episode of Spare Change, we're going to be discussing the 1.25 Eagle Indian head coin. It's my second favorite coin. It's a beautiful coin, and I can't wait for the next episode, and I hope you can't either. Well guys, check your spare change because you never know what you might find in it. I'm Mark Absalon, and I'm out of here.